Chapter 32. The Harbinger Sea. Captain Sangra and I rushed after pinching onto the quarterdeck, a thick sheet of rain immediately soaking us through. The ship heaved port side, nearly knocking us off our feet. Lightning flashed, illuminating the sea. Mountains of waves roiled around us in every direction. Sailors staggered up the companionway, coughing, followed by thick clouds of smoke. Sangra's loose hair whipped about her face as she began shouting orders. She pointed aloft to the sailors who were working to reduce our straining sails. "Get them down! There's no time! Just cut the lines! Grebe, turn us starboard!" Grebe and the men at the wheel looked strained to the point of breaking. "We can't, Captain," he cried out like a distraught child. "Something's wrong with the rudder. It's stuck and won't turn. We're heading straight into the worst of it." Grebe fell, exhausted, to the deck. Sangra leaped to take his place, throwing herself at the wheel beside the others. "You four there, find the sand buckets," Sangra shouted to the crew standing by the companionway. "Get below and get that fire out. Stay low." In Rian's absence, there was no sign of the crew's disdain for Captain Sangra. They snapped to her orders without hesitation. Even Grebe pulled himself to his feet and ran for the sand buckets. I was scanning the deck anxiously for Beau, but didn't spot him. My room was right next to the galley. If he was still sleeping, the smoke would suffocate him. Covering my face with my sleeve, I followed the sailors with the buckets down the companionway steps. Thick smoke choked me and burned my eyes. I dropped to the floor, crawling along the boards. An orange glow blazed out from the galley. The ship heaved side to side, sending flaming debris sliding over the deck. I scuttled to my cabin and flung open the door. "Beau! Beau!" I rushed to my hammock and swung him out of it. He tried to stand up, but I pulled him back down to the floor. "What is it?" he coughed. "What's happening?" "Follow me, but stay down." Together we crawled past the sailors, throwing sand at the fire. No one saw me take Beau upstairs through the smoke, or if they did, they were too busy trying to save the ship to care. On the main deck, I filled my grateful lungs with clean air. I didn't have long to savor it, though. The ship pitched, sending us both to our knees. We slid across the deck, knocking into each other as we tried to stop ourselves. "Over here!" Beau grabbed my arm and pulled me toward the rowboats. We crouched between the boats, clutching the ropes that held them down. Lightning flashed overhead, and a crack of thunder sounded like a ship was tearing in two. The crew that had been rolling the sails were making their way back down the rigging. Above us, I heard a low rumble of rushing water. I looked up, and all my courage left me. We were headed up the face of a wave taller than the Temple of the 9 Islands. The water roared as it broke over the prow. Beau took the extra ropes tied to the rowboat and wrapped them around and around my arms. He looked straight at me. "Whatever you do, don't let go." I gripped the ropes and shut my eyes. The wave crashed down on us. The force of it wrenched my feet out from under me. The ropes burned my wrist and forearms as I was pulled against them. Everything, everywhere, was water. I was sure we had capsized and our whole ship was now beneath the sea. But then my face felt the surface. I gulped in air. With a heaving dip, our ship began sliding down the other side of the wave. "Beau! I'm here!" With the next flare of lightning, I saw him, his arms tangled in the ropes. The rowboat beside us was gone, ripped free from the deck. Luckily, the one we clung to still held fast. Above us, half the sailors who'd been climbing down the rigging were nowhere to be seen. Now the Prosperity slid deeply down the backside of the wave. Beau and I had to cling to the ropes to keep from being tossed to the bow of the ship. We couldn't face another swell like the last one. If our rowboat was swept to sea, it would take us with it. I reached out and found Beau's arm. "We've got to move. We've got to get back below decks." But now the ship had tipped up again as it began to scale the next wave. To make it to the companionway, we'd have to climb up the slippery deck against gravity. We didn't have time. "No, this way!" Beau unwrapped the ropes from around my arms and pulled me astern. We half crawled, half slid toward the cabins at the rear of the main deck. The ship kept tilting up at a steeper and steeper angle. "Hurry! Faster!" Straight ahead, the door to Rian's cabin yawned open. The cresting wave thundered above us. Beau grabbed my hand. "Now! Jump!"